All right, hey there, YouTubers. CJ Productions 1996 here today. Back in the shop. This is the day after the JD² video I just uploaded about initial thoughts on it. This is V2 of the SSB engine guards for my DRZ400 SM. So this is V1 over here. So this was the second one, this was the first one. The first one I made too long, this center section. The second one I made closer to what I needed, but it was I went too far. And this third iteration is gonna be an inch shorter than this. And it'll be, hopefully, if the math works out, which I don't know how the math works, I'm just kind of winging it. If the math works out, these should be parallel to each other, but offset at that angle. Sorry about that howling. The lathe is on its last legs of insert, and I just wanted to get this piece done, so I sent it. As you can see, this is 68 thou wall tubing, and you can see some wrinkling here. I mean, this is really light stuff. It's really, really strong, though. I could not bend it by hand. I had to heat it to red glowing hot, and I had a 5-foot piece of 2-inch conduit on it, and I just barely bent it. So this is very strong stuff. And you see it wrinkles pretty darn good. Now this older tubing we had that we don't really have a use for anymore is 80 thou wall. And it likes the thicker tubing. No wrinkles. This looks very, very nice. This looks amazing. Very happy with these bends. Both of these, I got really close to each other, if not the same. I mean, look at that. That's pretty dang perfect. Half a quarter inch off at a foot or 2 feet, which is really nice. And it's just this piece of copper. I'm going to have to trim this a little bit more because I keep hitting into this and catching it and bending it. So I'm going to take off like another, ½ inch or something. Just use these welding snippers I have. This is a 3/4 inch bolt, so I got the socket. And this you can also crank down on the thicker wall and it won't bend the tubing. So this also is a bending... you can see the score in there. This is a bending jig, I think they call it, or whatever they call it, like a fixture. I can't think of the right word right now. But they show you how to make one in their instruction manual, and it's basically just tells you where the bend starts as this line is marked as the follower, so you can do your calculations easily. So hopefully I'm gonna do it right. From the end of this corner, I need 3.5 inches to the start of the next corner. So I kind of drew it here, 100 degrees, 3.5 inch straight, and then 80 degrees. And that's just going by eyeball on SSB's website. And I kind of, since they wrote the thickness of their tubing is 25 millimeter, which is an inch, I could then, say we measured it on the screen. It's about 3.5 widths of the tubing on the screen. So hopefully that'll work. I then have to make up some mounting plates. I have some stainless over here that I borrowed from somebody. This is what I used for my Beskar spear. You can see the 2 spear blades are cut out. That would go on the right side of the spear, that would go on the left side of the spear. So I'm gonna make some plates that do the engine mounts. So the way this mounts is on the one side it mounts to the engine mount on the front, and then the bottom it mounts to the like shitty plastic engine guard that is stock. So I'm gonna mount it to those, where I'm gonna basically mount it how SSB does it, but they have angle iron, which kind of looks a little chintzy. So I'm gonna make some really nice looking plates. And then I have some stainless MIG wire for our MIG. I could TIG weld it, but I'm not that great with the TIG yet for with the welding wire. I'm really good at fusion welding stainless, but I mean, you can't really fusion weld that and expect it to hold up. But sorry about that. These tubes are a lot heavier. I'm so glad with that bend. That looks really, really nice. So I've got 2 more lengths of this. So if I do mess up, I could still make another 2. But I really hope I get this right this time. It would just be a lot easier. Yeah, so the first part will be the tubing, and then the second part will be the plates and welding. I don't think I need to skin this like SSB's done. They've taken a piece of steel and they've welded it onto here, sort of like an extra protection. But I think with 80 thou wall, that, I mean, you're gonna have to do a lot of sliding to cut through that. And you can see this is the 60 thou wall. I'm getting about 5 degrees of spring back, so 5 to 6, which, I mean, it's all right. You just got to take it into account. But other than that, the real big question is how do I get the 3.5 inches I need, correctly. But we'll see. I'll see, and I gotta get it. I gotta get them level to each other also. So one I did by eye, or both of those I did by eye, but one was dead nuts and one was a bit off. Also, we're not building a rocket ship, so everything could probably be a bit off, and I can just grind it and weld it. It's literally supposed to like beat the shit, but yeah. So that's the 2 first bends. I'll probably do some bends on camera in this video. I'll do the next bends. I'll show you how it's set up, but I can't really hold this phone and set it up. But it's pretty sweet, and I gotta go feed the lathe. All right, we're back. I just shut the lathe off for the night, so now I'm devoted to this. Got this in here level, pretty darn level. And it's so far forward that where I want to bend for 3.5 inches, I'm about a 1/2 inch off, but that's as close. It would be nicer if this bolt was over here. This could be shorter, and then you could get closer to the die, but I don't know why they don't do that. Anywho, when I tightened it, it did bend this down, so you had to put it preloaded up, and then you do that. So let's start this here. So first thing you do, you don't really need to put the pin in here, but I do just because I'd lose it if I didn't. That's in there. We want to engage this. That'll ride up these ramps automatically, but it'll drop in and stop it from springing back. I'll show you that in a little bit. This is all loose. Everything here is loose because the hydraulic ram is all the way closed. So turn this on, and you can hear how loud the fan is, and that's because I think it's chewed up. So you just push. I'm pushing the out button. We'll go over here. It's easier. I'm just pushing this out button until all this stuff tightens up. So until you get all this slop gone. And usually it's about when this touches, and I've noticed is when the back of this touches the pipe is when it's good and tight. And then your zero, your readout here, which is pretty zero. It's pretty consistent, I'll say that. And we're gonna wanna go about 80 degrees. So each pin drop is about 40, I've noticed. So we're gonna go, let's see if I can get it all in one shot. So I'm pushing this button, it's going. Watching that pin, this pin right here, it's lifting up, it's going up that ramp. When it gets to about 40, it drops. So it drops. So now you're gonna push backwards. This pin will catch the die from rotating. You're gonna go backwards a little bit until this pin, you can lift it out. Now that's lifted out, you bring your arm back And usually once it's halfway, I just leave the pin in there. And that pin will then, when you bring it back to the second drive hole, that'll drop. So now you're ready to drive another 40. Well, it's actually more 50 on the second hole. I don't know why, but so this is tight now. You can't pull this out because it's holding this die. So let's go forward. You're gonna watch this pin again. Also, it'll rise up. I probably won't have to lock it in, but I'm gonna go to 85 degrees. And then watch, look at the spring back. So I'm just pulling this back. I'll actually disconnect this by rotating the pin, and so it's not going to engage and hold the die. So now that this is loose, you can see actually you can also take this out, and if you pull, you can see I'm only at about a 78, 76, 77. So I need to go a little more. So actually I don't even have to lock that back in, but we'll go a little more. So again, pull it nice and tight. We're about 89. We'll go 86-ish, we'll go, I guess. There we go. We're about 80 now. Tight, pull that tight. We're 80. So now you suck your little wiener in here. Suck that in. Now you can shut that off. So let's see how we did. If this is stuck, you also, again, you have to take this out to release the die. So don't forget that. Don't try and drive it backwards. It'll break that probably. And usually you'll take this out to drive this home. But again, you can just take the clevis out and then, because the tube will be jammed into these followers. So you have to pull this back with the drive pin in. You just push it with your hand to pull it out of these followers. And then you can take this out, loosen your screw, and take your Y strap off, and your part comes out. Again, the only annoying thing so far has been that this doesn't sit at the right height with this pin in here. I'm either going to put a longer pin in or, like I said, make a aluminum sheathing to go and hold it at about the right height. So that's about it. We can double check our pull here. Again, we're about 80, 79. It's a wire, so just see if it looks right. They look about pretty even. I might have to go a little more. No, they look pretty darn good. Alrighty, so this one's probably done. I'll do the other one, and hopefully they'll look the same. I'll get you right back. Alrighty, guys, I just finished up. It was 3 minutes after that last video. About a degree off on both of them, but they line up really well lengthwise, which is awesome. And again, it's probably like a quarter, probably a half of an inch off, which first time actually making something and not just like going by eye. I kind of like did some math, not even math at that point, it's just adding 6 degrees. But like these, I didn't really measure the length of anything. So that's pretty cool to see. Very easy to learn to use. Really amazing bends on this thicker wall. My coworker's gonna shit his pants tomorrow because that looks just like SSB's bends, not all these wrinkly things. So I would have thought thicker material would have more bends because, or more wrinkles because the material needs somewhere to go, and where else to go but together and bound. Really super easy, super quick, super simple, cheap comparative to your other options. Again, could you do a manual? Could I have done this manually? Yeah, probably. It wouldn't have been as quick and easy. But since it was it was a business expense because we are using this for business, it's a no-brainer to get the hydraulic version. Very happy with this so far. But anyway, so these I need to cut to size. This side's going to be shorter than this size, than that side, and that'll make it kick out. So you don't take away any of your leaning angle. Gonna have to make mounting plates, and there's a third on SSBs. There's a third piece of tubing that they weld to this corner area ish here. That's got a nice tiny little bend just to clear the engine, and mounts to the middle mounting bracket for the splash guard. Or yeah, I guess it's really splash guard. I'm debating on making these tabs with like another tab that comes off, and then I could thread and I could drill and tap them, and then I could, when we get the diacro running, I could make a really cool aluminum skid plate that like goes in between the mounts. I think it would be pretty cool, but I'm gonna have to, when I bring my bike in here, I'm gonna have to see if that's in the realm of actually making sense, or I should just weld, to the mounts a plate or something. I don't know. I don't want to have to weld tabs on later to then drill and tap. If I'm gonna make mount tabs for this, it'd be cool to incorporate another like little flange that I can just bend in a vise that would facilitate. And then I could make have a piece of aluminum, bend it on the diacro, drill the holes, countersink them, and we have flush mount countersunk screws, not counterbore, but countersunk, a little triangle. So it would be a really flush bash plate that wouldn't get caught on any logs. I don't take the thing off-road because it's too big. Physically too tall for me. I can barely reach the ground with 1 foot. Well, not really. I can flat foot almost 1 foot, but my 250 is way better for off-roading. But yeah, this will be really cool. I don't think I'm gonna weld the extra piece on the end, on the outside like SSB does, but this is the tube bending portion of my SSB knockoff. Well, not really knockoff. I'm making them in America, all right? I'm making them into America, and I don't know how thick theirs are, but I might be making them better than them. No, I like Japanese quality workmanship. I've had no problems with it. But yeah, if you guys have any comments or questions, leave them down below, and I'll see if I have your answer. But if you guys have any, like I just said, if you have any questions, leave them down below. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video, which will be cutting them to length, making the mounting plates, and all that jazz. So see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.